Hello everyone, Shinto coming at you with another weekly video, and this week's video is a bit different because this week marks the 1-year anniversary of Overwatch. And as some of you know, I've been playing Overwatch for, well, since beta, so since before the anniversary, technically speaking. So this video is geared towards new players that have wanted to try Overwatch but haven't tried it out yet. Side note, this weekend Overwatch is free to play, so it's the perfect time to find out if this is the game for you. Side note, I think it is. So we're going to go right into the heroes. I'm going to give you some tips that I wish I knew about each hero before I started playing. So we're going to start with Zenyatta. Zenyatta is a healer slash DPS. Now one thing very important to remember with him. His projectiles are very powerful. It can be very easy to get a kill, but do not forget to heal your teammates. As you'll notice right there, I just let a teammate die to get a kill. The other thing to note is don't only focus on healing. You don't want to just be around doing nothing. Okay, moving on to Symmetra. Symmetra sets up turrets, and her gun, basically you don't have to aim it. It's pretty much awesome. The main thing with her, make certain you get your turrets up, otherwise you're not going to get the value out of them. Also, her ultimate is a teleporter or a barrier. You definitely want to put those down to make certain that your team is getting the complete value out of her. As you can tell, I have my ultimate here and I am not using it. Now we have Mercy. Mercy is a main healer. The number one thing I would say with Mercy is unless you're healing a tank, don't stand right next to somebody who's taking damage. Also, don't forget that even though you're a healer, you do actually have a gun. You need to use it. Alright, so the next hero is, this play's actually going longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. More Mercy experience. There you go. The next hero is Lucio. Lucio is a healer as well. He's a bit more passive though. He actually has an aura around him that either heals or speed boosts his teammates. You need to make certain you're using both depending on your situation. And also, don't forget, his gun actually is much more powerful than you would expect for a healer. So definitely go crazy with that gun. The next hero we have is Ana. Ana is a sniper slash healer. It's pretty much amazing. When you shoot your teammates, it heals them. When you shoot your enemies, it hurts them. She is an excellent long-range healer. She doesn't have the most amazing mobility, so you need to try to avoid being in the middle of a ridiculous fight. But you also want to make certain that you are able to see all of your teammates so that you can keep them alive. As you can see here, I was sniping for healing. Next we have Zarya. Zarya is an off-tank, I like to call her. She's classified as a tank. Has a particle beam weapon that charges with the shields that she uses. The shield takes a certain amount, a minimal amount of damage, and it charges your weapon. The shield can also be used to save and or protect your teammates, and it again charges the weapon. Next we have Winston. Winston is labeled a tank as well. He is more of an instigator or an opener. He really starts the fight for your team. You want to make certain that before you dive in that your team is alive and at least somewhere behind you, or you'll just go in and feed the enemy kills for no reason. He's definitely excellent at taking out healers and other squishy DPS. The next character or hero that we have is Roadhog. Roadhog again is an off tank. He has no shielding to speak of, so you need to be careful with him. I like to call him a giant beanbag or meat pinata so that you can charge your ults while shooting at him. But the number one thing that you need to practice or get good at with Roadhog is getting your hooks. If you don't get those hooks and get those shots, then he's really not worth it. The next hero we have is Reinhardt, and he is what I would call the main tank. He has a massive shield and a massive hammer or axe, depending on the skin that you have on him. His charge ability is amazing for starting an engagement. The number one thing that you need to remember with Reinhardt is don't charge in without your teammates behind you. If they're not with you, then you're just going to charge in and die. Also, don't charge into a fight without having your shield. The next hero we have is Orisa, and she is a bit complicated. She has a shield that she throws out and also a long to medium, I should say medium to short range, kind of Gatling gun style weapon. For her, it's really about the presence. She's not an extreme threat to everyone, but she does kind of make space for her friends and other heroes with her. Next we have D.Va. D.Va again is an off tank. She doesn't have a shield, but she does have a defense matrix that she can use to block incoming damage. Now it doesn't block physical damage, as you can tell here with Winston hitting me. She also has an ult, which is totally sick. It is her mech self-destructing. Now my tip for her is, it's nice getting that awesome ult that kills the entire team, but don't just save your ult and then never use it because you don't see the perfect time. Next we have Widowmaker. Widowmaker is a sick sniper. I mean, honestly, all the heroes are sick at whatever they do. The number one thing I would say with her, she's definitely long range. I mean, obviously she's a sniper, but the point being, she's not very good at dueling close up, so you need to make certain that you keep a good distance and have a good, idea of your surroundings so that you don't get picked off by someone sneaking up on you. Next we have Torbjorn. My number one piece of advice with Torbjorn, he sets up turrets and he does have a small gun. Number one piece of advice, build your turret and then walk away from your turret. Do what you gotta do with the gun and make certain you are giving armor packs to your allies. If you just stand there using your hammer on the turret, you're pretty much worthless to your team. Next we have Mei, and Mei is what I like to call the Ice Queen for obvious reasons. She has an ice gun that makes ice walls and pretty much freezes and annoys all of her targets. The ice wall can be used for a few different things. It can be used to get you, up onto a platform that Mei otherwise can't jump onto. It can also be used to block damage, and what I like to use it for is splitting up the enemy team, to make them easier to pick off. Next we have Junkrat, and Junkrat is pretty much ridiculous. He basically shoots little bombs out of his gun, and it's over the top and awesome. Again with Junkrat, I kind of have the same tip as I did with D.Va. Your Riptire, it's an amazing ultimate, but don't just wait for the absolute perfect moment to use it, or you'll never use it. There's never that perfect moment. It's extremely hard to get the entire team with that ult. If you get a few key characters, that really helps. Next we have Hanzo. Hanzo is a sniper. I would say same as Widow, but he's actually quite different. He doesn't have sights. He uses a bow. And his mobility is a little bit different than Widow's. He can actually climb up walls, which can be extremely handy. And my number one tip with him, pretty much just practice. Practice. I would say he may be more difficult to get those headshots than with Widow, but I know that there are other players that would argue with me. Now we have Bastion. Bastion is an Omnic, or robot if you haven't played Overwatch yet. And basically he sets up a massive turret. He is a massive turret. The main thing with him is you need to set up in a good spot where you have a good field of vision. If you start getting attacked and you're not certain that you're going to make it, you need to move right away. Don't just sit there because you're just feeding the enemy kills. Next we have Tracer. My biggest tip with Tracer, and I see a lot of other players making mistakes with this, she has 3 blinks, which they're a lot of fun to use to get across the map. I mean, you can just zip across an entire map in pretty much no time at all. Main problem that I see is people do that. They zip across the map into a fight and then they don't have their blinks so that they can actually use them for a fight. Save as many blinks as you can for a fight. Next we have Sombra. Sombra is a hacker. And the number one tip I would have for her, I think I've used that phrase a lot, number one tip. Anyway, the biggest tip that I would have for her is hack everything. Hacking health packs makes it so that you can use a health pack, your friends can use the health pack, but the enemy cannot. Also, when you or a friend uses a health pack that you have hacked, it charges your ultimate that much faster. Next we have Soldier 76, and Soldier 76, I mean, I gotta be honest, if you're used to Call of Duty, you'll like Soldier 76. He's simple, point and shoot with an automatic weapon, and yeah, I mean, there's not much more to him. He has a sprint like you would in the other shooters that you're used to. A big tip for him is try to fight on the high ground. It gives you a really good advantage when it comes to taking out other enemies. The next hero we have is Reaper, and Reaper can be a terror up close. His weapons are extremely powerful, but they're also very short range. His ultimate is Death Blossom, and with that ultimate it is very easy to get a team kill. The thing to remember though is if you wait for that perfect moment to get that team kill, you're never going to use the ultimate and your team will never get the value out of it. In this example, I take out the Bastion. I solo ult the Bastion because he is our main problem. The next hero we have is Pharah. Pharah, it can be a lot of fun. There are 2 things that I would say about Pharah. One, her projectile, her rockets, they actually move rather slowly, so you need to aim where the enemy is going to be, not where the enemy is. If you remember that, your aim and the devastation that you deal is ridiculous. The second thing to note is her concussive blast can be used to move around the map very quickly. Next we have McCree. McCree is basically, I mean, come on, he's a space cowboy. With the revolver and, you know, talking about high noon all the time. His ultimate, I'd have to say the exact same thing. Don't just wait for the perfect moment. Use that ultimate whenever you get it to take out a few enemies. And the final hero we have is Genji. Genji is as close to a ninja as you're going to get in Overwatch. He has shurikens, he has 2 different types of swords, he can jump around like crazy. The number one thing to remember with Genji is he has a double jump and he can climb walls. While you're fighting, you need to be jumping all the time or you will get destroyed. Also, his deflect is extremely valuable against other enemies' ultimates. So those are all the heroes in Overwatch and the tips and or tricks that I wish I had known when I started playing. If I missed a tip or a trick, just leave it in the comments below that you think a new player should know. Also, don't forget to check out and enjoy the Overwatch anniversary and this free weekend. Also, little side note, I believe it's actually on sale till the 5th, which is pretty awesome for any new players. That is going to be it for me today. If you liked this video, drop a like on it. If you didn't, dislike it, won't hold it against you. Just remember, whatever game you play, whenever you play, good luck, have fun, and don't die. Until the next stream or video, Shintil out.